Alright, I think I'll jump into things. So, in the solo mode of MonstaTama, the story is the civilization you're a part of has started creating works of art. And these works of art are sort of captivating the populace, and they're caring less about going out into the world to tame the monsters. So your goal in the game is to, like normal, go out into the world and tame monsters, but tame more renowned worth of monsters than the renown that artists in the civilization create. So I'll just jump into things. I've already selected the biomes we'll be playing with, so first just ease in with two of the biomes you see in the intro game. So if you've seen the introductory game stream, or if you played the introductory stream, you'll be familiar with these biomes. And then two new biomes to show, two biomes you may not have seen if you've only seen the introductory game for the second and third round. So first thing, in the draft phase, we'll grab our cards from Terrafell Crevices and KOM Ruins. In the solo variant, you don't do the full draft phase. You play what is called the quick play variant, and this is where you just simply, so normally you'd get 10 cards here, and that would form your starting hand or starting supply, and then you draft up to 6 more. In the quick play variant, you just deal everyone 5 additional cards. So this is a variant that can be played in the multiplayer if you prefer a quicker and slightly simpler game. But in the solo variant, you always play with the quick play variant, where you're just dealt 5 additional cards instead of drafting. So these are the cards that we'll have to work with for the first round. I'm just going to lay them out here. A lot of Burhams. Alright, great. We'll come back to these in a moment, because in the solo mode, we're playing against artists. This is going to be the artist play area right here. I'm going to use this as their shelter, just because the shelter holders we have here, they don't work very well if you pick them up, and I want everything close by, so I'm just going to stick everything that's sheltered into that bag there. The artist doesn't have a discard path or vicinity, they really only have a team and a shelter, so ignore the position of everything other than the stuff on the team and the stuff in the shelter. They're going to be adding artists, or like works of art, to their team. So I've got the artist cards up here for the different biomes that we'll be using. And what you do in the preparation phase before you prepare your own path is you'll see what the works of art the artists are creating. So you take the works of art from the current biome. So we got the Terrafell Crevice works of art and the KOM Ruins there. Shuffle those together, and then we're going to add these to the artist team and activate their tamed abilities if they have any 4 times. So half of what is here. Alright, so a monster in the artist team receives 3 wisps. The artist always takes wisps directly from the wisp supply. There's no limit to the amount of wisps the artist can have. Alright. This is a fin ability, so we'll worry about that in a moment. So I receive 4 wisps. We'll just do that, and then it also has a passive ability. So again, we'll come back to that, but that's something you don't typically see in the multiplayer game, is a passive ability. So that's something we'll have to be aware of. And finally here, reveal cards from the draft deck until you reveal a level 2 monster. With level 2 monster, the artist team, it receives 1 wisp, and then put the other cards in the draft discard. Alright, so let's see what we got here. That is not a level 2. That is a level 2. Alright, so this moves the artist team, and we add 1 wisp to it. Alright, so this is the artist team, and this is what we're going to be competing against basically this round. Like monsters, well, they happen to have 1 monster, but their works of art, like monsters, have renown, and we're going to be wanting to exceed the amount of renown, or we want. But by the end of the game, we're going to want to have more renown in our shelter than them. They also have fin abilities, and then here there's going to be a pass ability. So let's just read what we're going to be up against. So if the player has more monsters than wisps in their team, I receive 3 wisps. So we'll want to make sure that our team isn't too heavy on just taming a bunch of monsters, and we add some wisps on our team. And then whenever the player moves a card out of their discard, discard a wisp on me. So if we play around with taking things out of our discard, we're going to be able to get remove some of the wisps and thus renown that the artist has here. All right, so now that that's set up, we can create our path as normal. But remember, we know all this, so we can plan our path accordingly. Let's see what we got here. So I mean, first thing that jumps out to me is we got a lot of Burms and we got a lot of Atrocities. And these happen to function fairly well together. The Atrocities can place wisps on the Burm, and then the Burm will double those wisps. Now, one issue with that is we don't have a whole lot of things that reveal cards. We have Tupor, and we got Tastads. Tastads only reveal 1 card, and Tupor reveals 2, which, Tupor is okay, but we don't have a lot of things that reveal cards. So it's going to be hard to guarantee we're placing wisps on the Burm. I guess we should take note of the legend we have, because the legends, if we do what they're looking for, can give us a lot of renown. So the number of monsters in your team that have wisps. All right, well this works well together. All this stuff works well together because the Atrocities will add wisps to monsters. And then an Opso can benefit from that. Also, remember we need to add wisps to monsters to make sure that we have more wisps than monsters on our team at the end of the round. Yeah, so I think this is the play, is to use the 3 Atrocities and the 3 Burms. Tupor for sure, because that will increase the likelihood we align these. Dragobra, yeah, we can basically set Dragobra to the side. We're not going to use Dragobra this round. Dragobra gives more renown based on how few things are in the discard pile, and we're going to be putting a bunch of Atrocities in the discard regardless, so I think that's not a good... We can basically put those back in this play. We're not going to be doing that. And again, we're going to be placing a lot of single wisps on things, which is making me think that these level 3s aren't particularly valuable. Trusty places a single wisp on something. If that thing's a level 2, then you don't need anything else placed on it, where it's a level 3, you still need another card, and that can make things a little awkward. I mean, maybe I just go with the Tastads. The Tastads, they like having monsters have multiple abilities on the team, and we happen to receive no gear, which is the main way of adding additional abilities to a single monster. So that's not going to be particularly valuable, but they do reveal a card, and so that can increase the likelihood we can place wisps with Atrocity on Burm. The only thing I'm considering is Brimvello, because again, every time we take something out of our discard pile, we get to remove 1 wisp off that. We're essentially scoring a point every time we do that. And Brimvello's ability is first discard a card in your vicinity, then move a card out of the discard to the vicinity. So this will basically guarantee us a point just encountering it. There's also a question of how valuable an Opso is, because we're only going to be placing on 3 different monsters, so it's just going to be a 2. And that's if we tame those specific monsters. There's a possibility we don't. Could be less. That's almost an argument for possibly including Jangofor to help out an Opso. The other thing, I could take out an Opso and just add Brimvello. So this is a guaranteed 1 point. These help set up these. I think that's what I'm going to plan on doing. Yeah. So this is going to be our 10 cards. So our main goal here is to get Wisps on Burham, because they'll double them. Yeah, and then we just make whatever points we can. You know what? I think probably having an Opso instead of a Tastat is valuable. We're being a bit risky here because we don't have a lot of things to guarantee the Wisps on Burham, but I think we need the points from an Opso. That's basically guaranteed 2 points so long as things don't go too off the rails. Okay, so that's going to be our path. Set an Opso to the side. I'm going to shuffle this up, lay this out, add a monster from our shelter to our team. Only have Revelopus, and then we're the only player, so we're good to go. Let's encounter some things. Okay, Burham. That's not the monster I wanted to see first. Okay. So I choose Revelopus with Tastat. Revelopus has one ability, so I get to reveal one card in the path. I'm gonna choose this card here, and the reason for that is, assuming we encounter all these things here, we figure out what all these are. By process of elimination, I can figure out what this one card is. So I always like to reveal this card, leave the last card. Oh, I think the stream went down. Or maybe that's just on my side. Still up? Okay, great. Okay. So we don't have any level 3s in our path. So I think it's best just to tame something here. Tastat might be valuable later rounds, so we're going to tame the Burham. What we got here? Okay, Atrocity, perfect. So let's just guarantee the Wisp on that Burham. Yeah, Atrocity can add something to a card in the path, and then if you do, discard something in the vicinity, so we discard the Atrocity. Yeah, I'm happy with that play. The other Burham. Okay, well, we're only going to get one Burham doubling. And we probably still want to spread the Wisps with any remaining Atrocities we have. So what I'm thinking is we use Revelopus here. Because I don't want to... I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll keep encountering. Okay, Brimvello. So discard a card in our vicinity. I'm going to discard Burham, and then move a card in our discard to our vicinity. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna bring back Burham because I think we want to tame this Brimvello. I guess the issue we could get into is if these are both Atrocities. That's fine. If these are both Atrocities, we just Revelopus to get the other card that we need for Brimvello. Now, importantly, we just move something from our discard to our vicinity. And remember, whenever the player moves a card out of their discard a Wisp on me. So this gets thrown back to the supply. So we just scored a point, essentially. All right. Yeah. Reveal the next card. Okay, it's 2 poor. So we reveal this. Okay, so that's a bit unfortunate that this ended up being the other Atrocity, because it's going to be a little harder to switch where the Wisps are. Okay. I will move Burham back here so that we can use this Atrocity to add a Wisp to this Burham. And now we got 3 cents, so I'm just going to grab the Brimvello. So these get discarded. Bring Atrocity down. I will have our other Atrocity, because there's only one card left in our path, and we know we had 3 Atrocities, so this has to be an Atrocity. We're going to have the other Atrocity receive a Wisp, discard this Atrocity. And then I'm going to proactively here use a Revelopus. so that when we encounter this, we can still use its ability and discard and place a Wisp on Burm, and discard something else in our vicinity. So we just place an Atrocity here, and again, we've taken something from our discard. We've removed something from our discard, so we remove a Wisp here. Encounter this Atrocity. We may have a card in our path receive a Wisp. We want this Burm to receive a Wisp. We then discard a card in our vicinity, so I'm going to discard that Atrocity, so I can tame this Atrocity that has a Wisp on it. Encounter this Burm. We've got 3 sets, so we can tame the Burm. And we're good. Okay, in the finale phase, the player always does their finale abilities first, so we do those. So I add number of wisps I have to me, so 0. I add number of wisps I have to me, so Burm gets 2 more. Anopso comes down here. We have 2 monsters with wisps on them. So Anopso gets 2 wisps. Okay, great. Let's see Fin abilities over here. So the only Fin ability here is if the player has more monsters than wisps on their team, I receive 3 wisps. We have 5 monsters on our team, and we have 7 wisps. So no wisps received from the Marrow of Terrafell. Yeah, and then just like any round, we shelter everything that's on our teams. So I'll just take a moment here to assess, how well we're doing. So our team here, this is 7, 9, 16, 17. So we got 17 renown on our team. Here, that's 9, 14, 16, 18. Okay, so we're 1 renown behind. So we have a little bit of catching up to do, but we're not too far behind. So shelter all those. Shelter all of these. All right, we go into the second round. Oh, right, gotta move these back to supply. Okay, Nodal Steppe is the biome we'll be using for the next round. So in Nodal Steppe, all the players start with, or receive 1 Nonite as part of the cards they'll receive. So I'm going to give myself 1 Nonite, and the remainder of the cards, I'm only going to get 9 more instead of the usual 10, because one of them's the Nonite. Nonite is a card. It's not a monster. It doesn't really do anything other than the fact that it's always face up. So you can see here it's face up on both sides. You also, if you include it in your path, you get to choose where it starts. It doesn't get shuffled in. You just choose where it starts. There's a lot of cards in the biome that care about face-up cards or Nonite itself, and so we can just sort of combo around having a Nonite in our path. That's the whole idea behind that. I'm going to refill my wisps here just while I remember to do that. Alright, so once again, I'm just going to spread out the cards I have to work with, so I know. And one note, there's a note about this in the rulebook, but Zaptopus doesn't get used in the solo game, so if you happen to draw a Zaptopus, you just replace that with another card. So just replace that Zaptopus there. Alright, cards from the previous round. Still got our task tags. Perfect. So once again, we add cards to the artist supply. So these are the new cards from the new biome. Shuffle these up, and we add 4 to their team. Okay, so Song and Nodal. I receive 7 wisps. We'll come back to what its passive effect is, but that's a lot of wisps. Alright, Song of KO. Okay, we saw this last round, so reveal cards from the draft deck until we reveal a level 2. Zaptopus is not level 2. Krera is level... Oh! Okay, that's not the best thing for us to find, but... So, reveal level 2, move it to the artist team, so this Krera gets added to the artist team, and then add a wisp to it. So, Krera happens to be a card that's level 2, that's worth 5 renown. And it gets to do that because it has this effect that you reveal and discard the last card in your path when you tame it. So you make up for it being a lot of renown for a low level with its negative tamed ability. But the artist doesn't care about that. So we got our work cut out for us there with the Carrera added to the team. Alright, that's just a Finn ability. We'll come back to that, and that's 3 cards, because this is not one of the cards they're adding to their, like, they've added this to their team, but you add 4 artist cards. This is just additional. So 1 more card. Alright, that's a Finn ability, so I guess we'll just see what the artist is doing this round and what we need to play around. Alright, so whenever a player flips a card face up or face down with a monster's ability, discard a wisp I have. So we're going to be wanting to flip, reveal cards or possibly flip cards face down, and I know Bomakin has an ability that will flip cards face down. Note that that's only when you do that due to a monster ability, so like using the encounter action to reveal cards doesn't count. Here we are, so choose a monster with the lowest level in the player's team. I receive 3 wisps minus the number of wisps selected monster has. So we're going to want a low-level monster on our team to have a lot of wisps. And finally, player discards a wisp from 2 monsters on the team that have exactly 1 wisp. Okay, so we don't want to put too many, or we don't want to spread our wisps thin, I guess is what that means. We don't want single wisps on things. It's a good thing we already got an Opso on the previous round, because an Opso wouldn't be, this would not work well with an Opso. Not that we would have had to use an Opso, but we used it when we had the opportunity. Alright, let's see what we got here. So, we got 2 Bomakins. Yeah, and as I was saying, Bomakin has an ability that flips card face down. So we might want to consider that. Actually, let's look at everything we have that flips cards. So we got Bomakin, we got Belaptor, we got Tupor. And I know what flips cards, which is why I'm doing this so quickly. Obviously, you would read each of these and spend some time looking at them. Yeah, so those are all things that reveal cards. So those are all valuable to us because of the Song of Nautical. Oh, don't know what happened with my zoom there. What else do we need? We need wisps on low-level monsters. So Burm makes that easy. We just have to make sure we don't tame any level 1s. These are our level 1s. Because Burm adds a lot of wisps to itself. Bomakin also can too. Bomakin adds 2 wisps to itself if after flipping the next card in your path face down, there's at least one face-up card in the front of your path. So you basically, Bomakin's looking for you to have 2 face-up cards in your path, or in the front 2 cards of your path, or have a Nonite there, and when you flip Nonite face down, well, it's still face up. So that's what Bomakin's looking for. And it adds 2 to itself, so that's not bad. We also have Flup. Flup adds a wisp to itself whenever we encounter it. And after we do that, we can move it behind a Nonite that's in our path. So if we keep managing to move the Nonite behind the Flup, we can keep encountering the Flup and add a bunch of wisps to the Flup. And Nonite isn't always face-up card, so we got 2 Sizzle Nons, and they can move a face-up card in our path to anywhere in our path. So that's decent, using Nonite and Flup to try and get a bunch of points on Flup. We want, obviously Flup is only going to be 4 points by its, at maximum, because as soon as it has 4 wisps, it moves directly to your team. That's just part of its ability. So we'd want other things that capitalize off of moving things around, which we have Full Non. So this is move a Nonite in your discard to anywhere in your path. So it is level 3, but if there's a Nonite in our path, or in our discard, we get to bring it back to the path. Essentially meaning it refunds us one of its levels, or one of the cents we need to take it. So that's another way we can sort of get full value of those Flup, is try and align full Nons that we discard the Nonite and then bring the Nonite back, counter the Flup, so that Flup can go behind the non-knight and do it again, and try and finagle our way around these things just by controlling where the non-knight is. And we do have Sizzle Nons to control where the non-knight is. Tastad's decent for controlling where the non-knight is, because we commonly want it at the front, and it's choose a monster in your team for each each ability you have, discard or reveal a card in your path. That's not important to us. We'll reveal some card. It'll be one card, because none of our monsters, other than Gropgator, everything just has one ability. And then you move a face-up card in your path to the front. Non-knights always face up, so we'll always be able to move non-knight to the front. Okay, I'm liking this direction. I think this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna full on non-knight, non-knight messing around with things, and that should be fine with Mural of Kaom, because Flup, nothing will have wisps on it except for Flup, and Flup should have many, not one. If it has one, we've done something bad. Okay, so right now with these cards, this is 8, so we have 2 more. I'm going to put Belaptor in here. So Belaptor works well with non-knight. It's select a card in your path, reveal the selected card to its left, reveal the selected card and the card to its left. If the selected card is not a monster, activate this ability again. So non-knight is not a monster, so basically allows us to use first reveal the card next to non-knight, and then do it again, because non-knight's not a monster. I wonder if we need this much consistency, because this provides us a little bit of consistency. This is going to provide us with information. This is going to reveal cards. Tastad's going to reveal a few cards as well, not many, but it'll reveal a few. So I think I want a Bomekin, because we're going to be revealing cards. We're going to have non-knights in our path. That's the whole point of what we're doing here. And I think this is a bit risky, but I think I'm going to put 2 Bomekins in here. A little less consistency, but well, less consistency in one way, but more consistency in the fact that we have more monsters that we want to tame. Like last round, we sort of got into an issue where we didn't have a lot of monsters we actually wanted to tame, but this means we have more monsters we want to tame. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with those 10 cards. So once again, the non-knight doesn't get shuffled in, so these will get shuffled in. Put those there. Layout. And then we have to decide where this non-knight goes. So the thing we want is to find our Flup before we find our non-knight. But we also want to find our non-knight before we find our full nons. But we also want to find our Belaptor before we find our non-knight. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll put it a ways back. I'll put it like here. No, we want to make sure that we can encounter Flup enough times, because Flup has to keep moving behind it. So Flup can go 1. How many times do we need to encounter Flup? 3 times. 3 times. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put this here because we have a lot of things that can move it forward, both with Tastad and Tastad and Sizzlemon can move non-knight forward. So we'll just sort of hope that we got some Tastads in there along with our full nons, and our Flup is somewhere in here and not somewhere back here. Yeah. Let's go. There's Flup. Perfect. Okay, so when we encounter, I receive 1 Wisp. If I had 4 or more, we move you to the team. Otherwise, you may move me to anywhere right of a non-knight in your path. So we're gonna move that right behind this non-knight right here, and hopefully by the next time we encounter Flup, non-knight will be back here. So we get another Wisp, and we can counter Flup again. All right, there's full non. Again, we want the nonite in the discard pile when we tame full non. So if this is something that can move it to the front of the path, that would be great. It is not. It is our other full non. Okay. Well. Oh. Look at what I forgot. We're supposed to start with something on our team. I don't think I would have started with anything other than Revelopus, because I'm not placing Wisps on things as my team, and these other things don't have any abilities that will activate again. Okay. That doesn't mean anything though, because that doesn't help at all, because there's nothing in my discard pile, but that is there in case I need it. All right. Well, nothing I can really do except encounter again. So we got a Sizzle Non. This is unfortunate that we found all these here. So there's two things I can attempt here. If one of these is okay, first of all, I move a face-up card in your path anywhere in your path. Oh, okay. So if these are Bulmakins, I want this nonite here, because the Bulmakins will flip the nonite face down, it will still be face up, and then they'll get their wisps. So I'll take the bet that these are Bulmakins. So what I'm gonna do with the Sizzle Non is just move this Flup up here, which then means we encounter Flup again. Flup receives a wisp. If I have 4 or more wisps, move to your team. It doesn't. So otherwise, move me to anywhere right of a non-in your path. So we just sit that back behind the non-knight. Now, the only way we can move this non-knight now is Sizzle Non. Yeah, these were our only ways of moving this non-knight further back. So we know this non-knight isn't going to be moving further back. So I think I'm actually going to put this Flup at the end of my path. I'll still get to encounter it again, get one more wisp on it. But this just means if one of these are a Tastad, we'll be able to move the Flup forward. But this also just means it's Flup can be tamed by itself. It's already got enough. It's level 1. We never need more sense to tame it. So I want to keep it away from this nonite, which is, for the most part, once this nonite's in our vicinity, all it does is give us 1 sense. So I want that to align with something that needs sense rather than Flup. So I'm gonna move Flup all the way to the back. All right. I mean, we should tame something here so we don't lose sense. We don't waste sense. Full non's worth 4. That's the best we can do. Its tamed ability doesn't do anything in this case because there's no nonite in our discard pile. But we would have been able to do that if it was. All right, continue along. Okay, Bulmakin, perfect. Just thinking of using Revelopus here just to. Yeah, let's use Revelopus here, just in case this is another card that we want. Then because we know we don't want the full nons anymore, so we're going to use Revelopus' ability to move full non to here. We now have 2 cents. We will tame Bulmakin. Bulmakin says, flip the next face-up card in your path face down. All right, we flip this nonite face down. If there's a face-up card in the next 2 cards of your path, I receive 2 wisps. And would you look at that? There's a face-up card in the next 2 cards. All right, Bulmakin receives 2 wisps. All right, encountering this. Tastad, yes! There it is! Okay. So, choose a monster on our team. I'm going to choose Bulmakin. For each ability that monster has, add or reveal a card in your path. So Bulmakin has 1 ability. We're going to reveal this card. And then choose a monster in your team, and then I may move a face-up card in our path to the front of our path. Let's move Flup to the front of our path. All right. Now we encounter Flup once again. Receive a wisp. I may, or if you have 4 or more, if I have 4 or more wisps, which it doesn't, move it to the team. Otherwise, you may move it to anywhere right of a nonite in your path. We still got nonite in our path, so let's move this somewhere. I'll move it back to the end again. We don't know what this is, and depending on if that's a Belaptor or not, then this might change where we want to tame here. Yeah, move it back to the back. Okay. Perfect. We encounter the Nodite. Let's just tame this Tastad, because we got 2 cards in our vicinity, 2 cents, just some renown. Villas, Belaptor, select a card in your path, reveal it, and the selected card to its left. So we'll just reveal that. Okay, so at this point, we want to make sure we add this flop to our team. Otherwise, we just need the most renown we can get. So we can essentially just put that off to the side. We have 3 cards to work with. Bomakin will flop. If we tame Bomakin, it will flop face down, and there'll be nothing, no face-up cards in the path. So that doesn't work for Bomakin. So yeah, the best we can do with these 3 cards is just taming Belaptor with 4 renown, because these are both going to be 3, and if we tame one of these, we won't be able to get the other. So just encounter these. Tame the Belaptor because we have 3 cents. Encounter Flup. Receives a Wisp. If I have 4 or more Wisps, move me to the team. Okay. So, you know, if we had a deck specifically set up to do this a whole bunch of times, we would cap at 4. We happen to be exactly at 4 here. And that's our journey. Oh, thank you, chat. I forgot all about this. Okay. Let's think about this. How many times did things get revealed? This Tastad revealed something with its ability. This Tastad revealed something with its ability. Right? Both Tastads? I'm pretty sure both Tastads revealed something. There was always face-up cards in the path until the very end. So, yes. Both Tastads revealed something. Bomakin revealed 1 card because there's only 1 card to reveal at that point. Oh no, this Tastad didn't. Did it? This? One of these, this Tastad didn't, right? Because this was already revealed. Okay. Okay, so this Belaptor, this Tastad revealed something, and this Bomakin flipped something face down. So we need 3 of these Wisps to go away. Get so in the moment of the journey, I forget about that. Okay, I think we did that correctly. I think that's correct now. Okay, my Fin abilities first. I've got no Fin abilities on my team, so we go over to the artist. So again, I control all of the decisions with the artist, so I can choose which order I do these in. It doesn't really matter here, but let's just do this one first. So choose the monster with the lowest level in the player's team. I receive 3 wisps minus the wisp on the monster has. So Flup is my lowest level monster. 4 wisps. 3 minus 4 is no wisps. Just a note, rules-wise, if you'd ever need to add negative wisps, you just add none. Just to clarify that. Alright, and then the player discards a wisp from 2 monsters in the team that have exactly 1 wisp. None of the monsters on our team have exactly 1 wisp, so we're safe there. Alright, well, this was... I don't think this is a particularly great round for us because we got a little unlucky with the Crera added to their team. But let's see what we got here. That's 11. So we got 20 points on our team, 20 renown on our team. And what did they get on their team? That's 10, 15, so 22. Okay, I think that means we're 3 behind now. It's a little unfortunate that they got the Crera off of the Song of Kaon. But you know, 3 points, 3 renown. We can come back from that. That's very doable. So those are all sheltered. We go on to the final round. These all go. Okay. Final round. We're going to show Druseral Expanse. And so Juicero's Expanse special thing, and I'll show a monster once I get one. So give myself 10 cards. I'll just spread these all out. Okay. So Juicero Expanse has Groa monsters, and these monsters level increase by 1 for every wisp on them. So, you know, if this has basically wisps that are sitting on them don't make them easier to tame. They still count as a renown, but each wisp sitting on them increases their level by 1, meaning you need 1 more sense to tame them. So the wisp granting you 1 more sense doesn't, you know, it's just sort of equal. But they commonly have a lot of effects that will give them more wisps, and can, you know, benefit from being higher level. So let's add these in here and see what final 4 cards we're up against. Okay, that's a Fin ability. We'll look at that in a moment. That's a Fin ability. Okay, 1 wisp. The Game of Juicero. We'll look at what that should be a Fin ability. That shouldn't be a passive. I'll make sure that that's addressed in the module there. That's, you know, outdated. Okay, so we'll come back to it. We'll just set out the cards that we have, and we'll come back to what we're up against. Okay, so we're actually up against 2 Song of Juiceros, so we'll have to keep those in mind. And their effect is move half rounded up of the wisps in the player's discard to me. Okay, so we want to get as many wisps out of our discard as possible, and I guess I should do this while I'm remembering, but adding refill the discard to 15 wisps. So if I don't do anything, the first one's gonna grab 7 from the discard, and then there'll be 8 left, and the second one will grab 4. But I can theoretically, if I get all 15 wisps on my team, which is gonna be difficult, but if I theoretically did that, these will gain no additional wisps. So that's probably what I'm going to be aiming for. Just get as many wisps on my team as possible. Let's see what else we're up against. I receive 4 wisps minus the number of level 3 monsters in the player's team. Okay, so we're wanting multiple level 3 monsters in the player's team. And again, Groa monsters, their level increases as they gain wisps. So while Penguquad can be easy to tame as level 1, but if I'm able to get more wisps onto it, then this could be an easy way of getting additional level 3 monsters. So I'll consider that. And then again, this is supposed to be a Fin ability. Right here, this should say Fin. So it already has 1 wisp on it, and then during the Fin phase, number of wisps on me, I receive number of wisps on me. This hasn't been updated. That I'll need to address that after the stream. So this is going to double its 1 wisp. So if I can find a way of getting rid of that wisp before the Fin abilities happen, that would be nice. I don't think I have anything that discards wisps on other players' monsters, though. The only thing I have that affects other players, I think, is this Slumbug. And I actually could discard one of these with Slumbug, because Slumbug discards a monster on another opponent's team whose renown is 2 or less, and these Song of Juiceros are 2 renown. And that will happen before their Fin ability goes off. So that's another thing I could consider. I'm going to want to deal with these either way, because there's 2 of them. So either try and get a whole bunch of wisps on my team, and then have these basically do nothing, or just get rid of one and have as many wisps as I can past that to deal with the other. The Slumbug, though, is a level 3 monster, so that helps with this. I guess, here, let me see what else I have that can generate wisps. So this is actually, I know the cards, because I'm the designer of the game, but you can find the cards that generate wisps pretty easily because they all have the little symbol on them. So even just just a quick skim of the cards, you should be able to quickly sort out which ones have that little symbol on them and can generate wisps. If because one of our options here is just generate as many wisps as possible. Okay, so those are all our cards that generate wisps. We know Burm, we know Atrocity. Burm, if we can get a whole bunch on Burm, that's one way of depleting our wisps. Dragobra, we want a low amount of cards in our discard. That's interesting. I'll come back to that because we have a way of possibly doing that. Gropgator adds wisps to monsters that are directly left of a non-knight in our path, if they don't already have a wisp on them. So if we can move the non-knight around, that would be a good way of adding wisps, but we used a lot of our resources that allow us to move the non-knight around last round. I guess we didn't. We still have 2 Sizzle Nons. Okay, so that is a possibility. Okay, Jank4 just gives itself 1 wisp. Cubfloof gives itself 1 wisp, but it can also move the wisp. So we can move the wisp over the Burm and then double that wisp. So that's a nice little combo right there. Stragine, if choose 3 monsters on a team, if the combined level of the selected monsters is 9 or greater, add 1 wisp to me, the Stragine. So this works well because we're wanting level 3 monsters anyways, and it's it's looking for a lot of levels on our team to begin with. So that's probably something to consider there is using Stragine. It's also a Groa monster, which we'll get back to in a moment when we look at this big pile of agates we happen to receive. Bomakin we saw last round. If there's a non-knight in the front of your path, it receives 2 wisps. Probably we can put this to the... Well, we'll put this down with the Gropgator here, because we'd only probably... If we were using one, we'd probably use the other, because they both want non-knights. I guess I should say, non-knight being at the front of the path is the easy way of activating Bomakin. You can just activate it by having 2 face-up cards at the front of your path when you tame it. Pengu Quad, if I have the same level as a monster in your team, other than Pengu Quad, I receive... So if we had multiple Pengu Quads, they wouldn't count each other. I receive 1 wisp and activate this ability again. So if you can basically create sort of stepping stones for the Pengu Quad to add wisps to itself, it can get a bunch of wisps. That is certainly a possibility. And then we have 4 agates. So reveal 2 face-down cards in your path. Either all face-up Groa monsters in your path, or I receive 1 wisp. So we could use agates to add wisps to Stragine and Cubfloof. That is something we're capable of doing. We got a lot of agates. Unfortunately, we only got 3 Groa monsters, so there's not going to be a lot of monsters in our path to begin with to add wisps with. But we'll keep that in mind. And Whizzing, reveal the last card of your path. I receive the level of the next face-up monster in your path -2. So if we can get a really high-level monster in the front of our path, Whizzing can add a bunch of wisps to itself. And again, Groa monsters, their level increases by 1 every time you add a wisp to them. So this Stragine could be like a level 5 if it had 2 wisps on it, and that would mean Whizzing gets 3 wisps for just with its encounter ability. All right, so we're talking through all that because we have 2 things that want us to get wisps out of our discard pile, and then we also have something that wants us to have level 3 monsters on our team. So discussing all of that with everyone, I think the agate strategy is that's a little rough. That's gonna be difficult to pull off. And I said I was gonna come back to the Dragobras here because I mean one thing is here if we're taming the agates, they don't go to our discard pile. They're level 1, so we're able to add a bunch of monsters to our team. Keeping them over the discard pile, and Dragobra likes that. So I was considering that, like using a bunch of agates and trying to add a bunch of wisps to Stragine and Cubfloof. But that's we only have 3 Groa monsters, and I would like probably a few more to really go all in on agates. So I'm thinking I probably won't do that. So that's these ones, probably not. You can set up the Burum. These are all things that set up Burum. The other thing to note here is when we add wisps with Atrocity, we don't want to add them to Groa monsters because that doesn't help us tame them. The Groa monsters level will increase as well, so it will be harder to tame. Well, it will be because they have a wisp, they're easier to tame, but it will also be harder to tame because they have level, so it ends up canceling each other out. So we want those wisps to go somewhere else. Talking through all this, Gropgator is looking decent. Problem with Gropgator is we want level 3s. And I guess there is something to be said about just ignoring this. Just accepting that we might not have many level 3s and just it gets a whole bunch of points and just trying to deal with these as much as possible. And Gropgator does better with level 2s because then you can just tame the individual monster that it gets added to. But we don't have a lot of level 2s to add it to. We got Taztad and Bomakin. Tupor is not worth much of renown, so we don't really want to tame it to begin with. Oh, and we got Burum. Burum's good. Burum's actually quite good with Gropgator. I guess the other issue with Gropgator is we can't guarantee that we find this early on. Taztad can make it more likely, but if we're banking our whole strategy on Gropgator, we would have wanted it in our Shelta, so we could just start with it directly on our team. So yeah, maybe not Gropgator. Now the other thing I mentioned before is we could just go Slumbug, get rid of one of these. It's level 3, and in that case we're going more of the route of satisfying having a bunch of level 3s. We just accept that we're not going to have a whole lot of wisps taken out of our discard. Okay. I think I like this. I like this plan. So, this is a level 3, right? But it gives us a Nonite back, so it gives back one of the scents that we need. We're not going to worry about Nonite much for the rest of the path, so we're just going to put Nonite at the front of our path, so that when we tame the full Non, we get to put the Nonite back, and we're essentially only use 2 cards to get the full Non. I like that. Okay. Stragine, because we're going to have lots of level 3s. This is going to get one more wisp on it. Extra renown for us. Also reduce the amount of renown, or that amount of wisps they're going to steal. I'm thinking we add all these Wizzings. So we're not going the strategy of getting a really high level monster using Grow monsters, because we're not using anything that adds wisp to these while they're in the path. But the Wizzing, since we're running so many level 3s, is likely to find a level 3 and then it will add 1 wisp to itself, making these easier to tame. So I think we'll add all 3 Wizzings, which makes me want to add this Cub Floof because we want more level 3s. And because we add the Cub Floof, and it adds 1 wisp, well, first of all, Cub Floof, when you tame it, adds 1 wisp to itself. And then you can move that wisp to another monster on our team. Let's grab Burum. I think, yeah, let's grab Burum. So this is not going to be our primary objective, but if it happens, it's nice. We can move any wisps that are on Burum or on Cub Floof to Burum, and then Burum will double them. So. Oh, thank you, chat. Level 3 monsters on the... Thank you. Stragging is not going to work for what we're trying to do here. As it was pointed out, because when Stragging gets its Wisp from using its Fin ability, which if we're doing this where we have a bunch of level 3s, it almost certainly will. Actually, no. I could choose... Okay, well... Then the question is, why are we using Stragging? So Stragging lets me choose which monsters. So assuming I have some other things on my team, which I might not, but assuming I did, I could choose other monsters and make its ability fail. But if it does receive a wisp, then yes, it's no longer a level 3, and it doesn't work for satisfying the game of Terrafell. That's a good point. It's a very good point. And makes me want to use it less now. Yeah, I think we get rid of the Stragine. And we do have a Nonite. See, we want level 3s for these Wizzings to find. Jagofor is decent because it removes a wisp from our... It's a level 3 and it removes a wisp from our discard when we tame it. But we only get one more card. I think I want a little consistency here. Right now we got not a lot of consistency. We just got things that generate either renown, either sense like the Wizzings, or renown, and not much ways of making sure the things align where we want them. So 2 poor would be the simplest, like just all around rearrange some stuff. But what I'm thinking is we use agate. But we don't want to be taming this. No, we want yeah, 2 poor. No, because that adds something to the end of our path, and we don't really want to do that. So what I'm wanting to do, really, is know where the Bomakin is, so that when we tame the full Non, we can put the Nonite behind the Bomakin. That's my primary goal here, is with adding consistency. Otherwise, I would consider running no consistency and just hoping that things align. I'd consider that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I'd consider it. But what I was thinking is we just add an agate, because that reveals cards, and that's really the primary goal, is reveal, hopefully we find a Bomakin. If we happen to find a Cubfloof, or if it's already revealed with Wizzing or something like that, then when we tame the agate, we can add 1 more wisp to Cubfloof, which we can transfer over to Burm and double it as well, which is quite nice. Oh, I need to make a decision here. What does the chat think? I feel like this is the agate is wanting too many is looking for too many things to align. These are our choices, really. I don't really like the 2 poor. I don't like the 2 poor. These are our choices. If we manage to get Cubfloof early, Tastad will reveal 2 cards in our path. It also will be able to grab whatever Wizzing reveals. Like, we're very likely going to reveal the last card of our path before we see Tastad. Tastad is what the chat's saying. Okay. No agates today. And I guess if it needs to be stated, Cubfloof is also a grow monster, so it would have had the same issue that Stragine has. But it has an ability that allows us to move a wisp on it to another monster. So we can just move all the wisps off of Cubfloof, bring Cubfloof back down to a level 3. And we won't have it. It will be level 3 for the game of Terrafell. Let's see. Yeah, let's check what our Shelta is. I'm pretty sure. Okay, we got a Burm. So, okay. Here's the other option. I don't really like this option, but we could instead of putting the Burm in our path, just start with one of the Burms we have in our Shelta. That. See, the thing is we're not even Yeah, no, I think I prefer the Revelopus because Revelopus can make sure that we align something with the Wizzines. Like if we discard one of these early, then when we have the Wizzine we can add it back. Are we only running 3 level 3s now? See, we want each of those perfectly with Wizzines. Seeing us only running 3 level 3s almost makes me. I think this is sort of a funny combo, the Cubfloof into the Burm, but I think we want just more level 3s to collide with Wizzines. I think we just accept that this Cubfloof is going to give us 1 Wisp, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think I'm happy with this. Yeah, we really gotta. So, Slumbug is vital here. Like we cannot, we have to get Slumbug. There's no argument there. We gotta get rid of one of those songs of Juicero because we're really probably, if we're lucky, we remove 4 wisps and then this thing only gets 5, which is still a lot. But yeah, if we had both of these up, then that's way too many wisps the artist team is getting. So let's see what we can do here. And again, we're putting the Nonite at the start because really all we care about with the Nonite. Actually, no. Let's put it here. Remember, the Nonite's primary purpose is just to be thrown back into the path when we tame full Non. I put it here just in case our front 2 cards, one of them's Bomakin. Then we will be able to get the 2 off the Bomakin. But even if from the front 2 cards is full Non, we still need 3 cents, so it will be added to our vicinity and then discarded before full Non's tamed ability goes off. There is the risk that this is like full Non and then this is Wizzine, and that's 3 cents, and then we have to waste 1 cent to get the Nonite back. Or well, we probably wouldn't just. Yeah, we'd have to waste 1 cent to get the Nonite back, which is not ideal, but I think it's more likely there's a Bomakin in one of these 2 cards, and these 2 cards are exactly full Non and Wizzine. We want to add something to our team. I think Revelopus is the play here. Yeah, we talked about the Burm, but I don't think that's the correct way to go. Okay, so let's go. Wizzine. Okay. Next revealed card is not a level 3. I realize this this doesn't work anyways because our next face up Monsta. So next face up Monsta is Wizzine. That's unfortunate that Wizzine's back here because all of our Wizzines, until we reveal something else, is going to be checking that Wizzine there. Hey, look at that! Bomakin. Okay, perfect. We tame that. We flip the next face up card in our path, face down. If there is a face up card in our path, the next 2 cards, then we receive 2 wisps, and look at that, there is a face up card. Alright. Okay, so Nonite, just encountering the Nonite. Tastad, perfect, perfect. This is what we want. Let's see, what do we I guess we want to move this Wizzine out of the way. It's a little unfortunate that we're going to have to bring this Wizzine to move it. No, we just no. We don't have to move the Wizzine out of the way. Because so Tastad, it's going to reveal something. We choose Bomakin. It's going to reveal a card in our path, and then we may move a face-up card in our path in front of our path. So we can move Wizzine forward. The problem is moving Wizzine to the front of the path right now doesn't really do much. Oh no, I guess it does because we get its ability. We tame the Tastad first before bringing it to the vicinity, and we hope this is a level 3. So yeah, let's reveal this. Okay, perfect. Then let's move Wizzine to the front. So when we encounter Whizzing, it will flip this card, but it will see this card as the next card, and it will get 1 Wisp. So yeah, we got a Whizzing coming up with a Wisp on it, so let's just tame things while we can. Whizzing. So reveal the last card of your path. I receive number of Wisps on this card, or the level of this card -2, so 1 Wisp. So we haven't seen any of our level 3s yet. We included 4 level 3s, right? So Slumbug, right. So one of these is a Whizzing, and the other 2 is Fullnon and Slumbug. So we just really hope this isn't the Whizzing. Oh no. Okay, that's not good. Okay, so we're gonna encounter again because we need these level 3s. So yeah, we're gonna tame that. We got 5 cents. That's enough. That's the card we need. Okay, the things could have gone better, but we got the most important card. All right. So this is Fullnon. Is there any way? Oh no, we're only going to be able to get 1 of these. Revelopus will allow us to grab 1 of the Whizzings and get 1 renown out of it, but yeah, we're only going to be able to get 1 of these. Is there anything we need to worry about as far as the placement of our Wisps? No, we just want Wisps on our team. Okay, so yeah, just encounter everything, then we choose what we want. I think in this case, Cubfloof and Jangophor are the same. We just have to move the Wisp on the Cubfloof. So to keep things simple, I'm just going to grab the Jangophor. So when you tame it, I receive 1 Wisp. And then, yeah, we just use the Revelopus to grab a Whizzing. We tame the Whizzing, and unfortunately, that's all we can do. Okay, our Finn abilities first, so the opponent discards a monster on their team that has exactly 2 renown or less. So we're gonna get rid of one of these Song of actually that goes back to the box. By the rules of the game, this goes back to the box. All right, one of those Song of Juiceros are gone. That's big. I don't think it's big enough, but it's big. Okay. Then I receive 4 minus the number of level 3 monsters on the player's team. There are 2 level 3 monsters on the player's team, so receive 2. And move half, rounded up, of the Wisps in the player's discard to me, so that will be 6, is exactly half. That's a lot of Wisps. Alright, and then we add, so this is number of Wisps on me, so basically this needs to be updated, but I receive the number of Wisps I have, is what this essentially have. So it adds 1 more Wisp there. Okay, and yeah, that's the 3rd round, so that's the game, so we're just going to count up the renown. See some discussion about whether Tastad or Tupor would have been better for the Whizzings. I don't think no, the Tastad's better because Tupor will just send something to the back of the path, and like for example, if this, like let's say this is our situation, you counter Tupor, you flip these, whatever. Say okay, we want this Whizzing effect to go off. You send this Fullnon to the back of the path, and and you counter this Whizzing. This Whizzing's still in front of this Fullnon, so the Tupor wouldn't have helped with that. I realize I've just probably messed up some cards here. We tame this Tastad. Yeah, we tame that Tastad. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. We got 6. Just make sure these are all Wisps. Yep. Okay, so that's 10. Nothing, nothing. That's another 10. That's 10. That's 10. Alright, so 40 here, 15 here, so 55 points for the player. Let's just grab out the cards the artist ended up sheltering. Oh, wait a moment. We're missing a round. These are all from the first round. Where's the Carrera? Did I put them in here? Did they? I don't think they would go. I don't think they're allowed to go in there. I don't think that works. Oh, right here they are. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Put these wisps back in here. Okay. 4, 4, that's 10. That's another 10. That's another 10. So get 2 more here. That's 10. Alright, so 40 here, plus 18, so 58. So, yeah, we ended up losing there. Artist scored 58 points, and we ourselves ended up scoring 55, so it was fairly close. We did get particularly unlucky with that Carrera, because this is just adds a level 2 Monsta from the current rounds biome, and that could have been like a Derival that was worth 1 renown, but it happened to be a Carrera that was worth 5, so a little bit unlucky there. But yeah, that's the solo mode of MonstaTama. Yeah, well, I think I'll wrap things up then. And again, if there's anyone watching this now or anyone watching this after the fact, MonstaTama here is on Kickstarter now. You should be able to find that by searching MonstaTama in I'll just that's how you spell MonstaTama in Kickstarter. This is one word. There's no space. It's MonstaTama, all one word. And yeah, you can back this game now to get a copy. It's deck construction, standalone deck construction. You make your decks, you play it all within the game, and you pack it up, and it's all stored in one simple box. And with that, I'll sign off. I hope people enjoyed seeing how the creator of the game plays. I guess I should mention here, I was playing the sort of like advanced standard mode for playing against the artist, which is intended to be fairly difficult. If you're just learning and you're not, you don't think you see all the combos I'm talking about here. I mean, you don't think you're that confident with the game yet. It is recommended you play with 3 artist cards on the team each round, rather than the 4 I played with. The 4 is intended to be a challenge for even for people who understand the game, like fully understand the game, and then 3 is there to ease yourself in. All right. With that, I'll sign off. And again, if there's any questions, you can. Well, I guess the best place to ask them is on the MonstaTama Discord, which again you can find on the Kickstarter page, or ask any questions in the Kickstarter comment section. All right. Bye.